Do you think we'll look back on this in, say, 25 years after we've done, I mean, I guess I use the word autopsy. I don't know what the equivalent is when, maybe they can study all the genetic strains. They can go back through all the records, after all the Freedom of Information Act comes back, and we'll look at this as one of the strangest times in human history where everybody kind of duped themselves into behaving in a completely irrational way? Or do you think it'll be covered up as a real pandemic?
I think it's one of the biggest mistakes of the millennium, probably, or the biggest mistake of the century. And why I've been calling for public inquiries into it is that it's very clear how we ended up here. It's that the governments, relied on advice, one or two voices, and they were scared or intimidated by the media, and also global organizations like the World Health Organization, where there is no democratic accountability, perpetuated the fear. And that's why we have to learn lessons, because this pandemic, what I had said in the beginning is, why did it looked like Wuhan and the Lombardy region and New York were outliers of very high deaths. And what the epidemiologists should have been doing in January and February, before it even came to Europe, is to say, how come there's hardly any deaths in Japan or in South Korea or in Taiwan? What is different? And I think definitely we will find out it's either the age profile, or it might have been prior vaccination or other environmental issues. But really the death rate around the world is in the range of a normal influenza virus, and there is nothing to be afraid of. And I think we will learn a lot from why there were so many deaths in Wuhan and in Italy and in New York.
And you think it'll be a combination of those things? You said age profile, form of vaccination, and maybe toxicology in the environment.
Yeah, and I think what people should know is that 40% of the time, the influenza-like symptoms are caused by coronaviruses.
Right, I think...
You can clear those viruses, and become immune.
I think Dr. Sherry Tenpenny said that when flu is reported, it's not necessarily the flu, it's flu-like symptoms. So every year, the flu, when it's reported, has percentages of coronavirus in that. Is that correct?
So it's just that there are different families of viruses. So the influenza virus that we call flu or influenza is only 10 to 15% of the time that people have flu-like symptoms. And 40% of the time it's caused by coronaviruses. And the common cold is also caused by coronaviruses. So I think there will actually be less deaths now due to flu, because if we get our message out, people will be informed that you can actually boost your immune system by vitamins D, C, and zinc in the flu season, so that actually we can have less deaths overall for other years. And also hydroxychloroquine and zinc, in the preventative dose, it has a half-life of 21 days, so that anyone who has a low immune system or is vulnerable can actually take the preventative dose of zinc and hydroxychloroquine and will actually be able to engage with these coronaviruses, and they won't make them sick at all. So we can actually reduce the burden of illness as well as death now from this experience of coronavirus. So that is good news.